Hi, it's me again. Hi, this is Barry Selby, host of Messages from the Masculine. That's the new branding, by the way. And it's been a busy weekend. This is Monday, post inauguration, post Pink Pussy Parade March, when you call it, basically the massive, multiple millions of women and men marching on Saturday, a couple of days ago, around the world, not just in California or America, in protest, or I should say in solidarity for women's rights, which I'm a firm believer in. A couple of points. Today, Monday, there was the bill was signed by Trump in the Oval Office with a bunch of men standing around him, which is the anti-abortion legislation that is for supporting funding outside the United States for other countries. Now, first of all, that sounds grotesque, which it is. But secondly, the thing about it is, well, there's a few points. One part is this has been going on since Ronald Reagan was in office. Basically, what happens he as one of the Republicans put through this bill to defund abortion clinics and like a Planned Parenthood example around the world, outside the United States. He was talking about family values, but in the meantime, he wasn't giving women the choice. Surprise, surprise. Then when the Democrats came in, hey, oh, well, I'm sorry, it's too late for you. You're going to bed. Catch the replay, thank you. And feel free to share it out when you do. Nice to see you, Gail. Each of the parties, from Democrats to Republican, have either signed it or rescinded it every single presidency. When Clinton was in, it was rescinded. When Bush came back in, it was put back in place. When Obama came in, it was rescinded. Now Trump's back in, it's been back in place. So it's a ping pong match. But it's a ping pong match with women's rights. And that seriously frustrates me. It actually frustrates me more because it's in other countries. Now, yes, there may be some points about the US investing in other countries, but it's also about population. It's about women's rights to choose. It's about contraception. It's about HIV. It's about a lot more than that. Same as Planned Parenthood. Let me drop a piece on this one. Planned Parenthood has been singly targeted because they apparently support abortions, which they don't. There's no abortions happening at Planned Parenthood clinics. But the Republicans have decided to paint them with a brush that they do. What Planned Parenthood does, as you may have guessed from the name, is help families plan for their parenting. Hello. Which includes contraception, includes things like HIV prevention and support. So there's lots of pieces of the puzzle. And what I want to speak to is more philosophical than actually mechanical, or maybe it become mechanical. And I didn't mean to go down this road, but that's what I felt aligned to do. What I'm aware of is this, as I said earlier, ping pong match. In fact, this game being played with women's right to choose by the GOP, the Good Old Boy Network, or Grand Old Parties it's called. There's this unfortunate tradition of diminishing women's freedom to choose and rights because men think they shouldn't have that. And that, to me, is not right. So I'm speaking up for women in this right, that's why it's Messages from the Masculine, to really share a different point of view. And as I mentioned, this is post the Pink Pussy Hat March, as I'll call it. This is after the women and men showed up in massive numbers on Saturday. It was powerful to watch. I was actually at another event this weekend and didn't get to go. A different piece of studying and learning about the masculine and feminine. I'll talk about that one in another broadcast perhaps. But the piece I want to speak to is, now that this march has happened, and the great news is so many people are on the same page, which I absolutely love. Now what? What's the next action? What's the next thing to do? Because having a march every 4 years, or every year, or every 6 months is a great reminder that we're connected, a great sense of family and that we're on the same page. What it doesn't do is change legislation. What it doesn't do is change everything. There is other things happening in the government, and I'm not going to get too political if I can avoid it, about how people can respond to what they're choosing to do with some of the things that affect us personally. And this is the piece of the puzzle that I want to talk to, especially for women, is that it's time, ladies, that your rights were respected, your freedom to choose in any part of your life is respected, and that your voices are heard. It may be ironic that I'm saying speaking voices from messages from the masculine, but talking about women, you need to have your voices heard. But that's what I'm speaking to in this particular what's coming through now. I feel for you. I spent the weekend in a very large, it was 150 or so people gathering. That was actually the Pax World Tour with Alison Armstrong, which I loved being at. It was an incredible experience. But the conversation between the men and women was so refreshing, so enlightening, and also so unifying. And that for me was powerful. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity. Hi, Christina. I miss you too. I see you in my broadcast live. There's a recognition of what I saw in that room is not yet globally accepted. And maybe we're in the minority. Maybe we're in the underground, as it were, because we're thinking differently. We're thinking more cooperative. We're thinking about empowering. We're thinking about respecting each other. Because out in the world, I don't see it as much. And that frustrates me. That's why I'm doing these broadcasts and why I want to talk about this more, particularly for women, because that's my championing or something like that. What I'm aware of is that women... Nice, Sandy. Nice to see you too. I'll try and explain this more clearly. What I'm aware of is after the marches on Saturday, there's a lot of, thankfully, joy and happiness happening, especially amongst the women who went to the marches, and the men too. And my concern is that it's going to be a lot of back patting, saying nice job, and then nothing happens. So this is a call to you to don't take off the pink pussy hat yet. I know it was a great idea because it really spread and became a very visible icon. Maybe that becomes the icon for the movement going forward. But what I'm really calling forward and inviting is for the men who are listening as well, and for the women, that this wake-up call for us as citizens, as humans, as individuals, is to own our own rights, take back our own power, and to remember that the people who are making those decisions, apparently for us, they work for us, and we can cut their paychecks. That was interesting. I wasn't planning to go there, but it did come out that way. So the overarching message here is to say this, and what I said at the beginning was that this is what we do now after the marches from Saturday. You know, the Pink Pussy. So I said post Pink Pussy march, but I called it. I was going to say Pink Pussy Parade, but that was not respectful. It was a march, and it was a stand for women's rights, for women's freedom, for women's respect, which I totally in support of. And there were celebrities, there were men and women there were kids, there were families, and it was peaceful. No arrests as far as I've seen. And it was a big statement. And the good news is, it was made. The question is now, what's next? And so what I'm feeling more and more is this need for us to keep talking, for us to stay in dialogue, to stay in this conversation, to keep this idea moving, keep this dream alive, as it were. Because I see people that we're having to challenge with now, you know? And in particular, we need to keep our sights on what's happening. What I'm very aware of, and I've seen this before, is that votes are made and rules and laws are made, oftentimes in back rooms. We don't see it. But if we stay awake, and like there was a message went out, and social media seems to be the way it goes out now more than more, because the media does not deliver it from the television or radio. But I saw a post about how there was this survey that Paul Ryan was hosting on, I guess, a certain phone number. If you could call in over the weekend, although it got jammed up, to say yes or no about rescinding the Affordable Care Act, or what they thought about it. And so those sort of things, keep an eye out for. That's for men and women, of course. But what I want to say is, more than anything else, is that the temptation for some people is to go back to sleep. There is a wake-up call that happened. This weekend, Saturday's marches was a definitive moment in history. The largest peaceful march, I think, in history, worldwide. The piece that's missing is continued action, continued vigilance, continued awareness, continued action, not as a reactive thing, but a proactive thing. What are we going to do? What are we up to in the world that makes the world a better place to be? How do we support the women? How do women support themselves? How do women support us? How do we all support each other in having a cooperative society that is for everybody? And it does require us to keep a strong vision and a clear eye on what's happening in the government, in the offices around, and what we let happen to our own lives when we're not awake. So I didn't know where I was going to go with this conversation, but I guess I'm going to get to the point of simply saying we need to stay awake and stay aware and stay present. I may do another Facebook Live about what I experienced this weekend at the event, which I shared a little bit earlier. But really what I think the core message I want to speak to here is, now that the march is over and we recognize how many people are aware of this and awake to this and present, let's keep that momentum going. Let's keep the conversation alive. Let's keep seeing how we can have a world that works for everybody, to quote somebody more famous than me. And that's really what I want to say, is I really appreciate what started on Saturday, or what's been building towards Saturday, but also saying we're not done yet, we're just getting started. And that, I hope, is a message we all take to heart, that those pink pussy hats will stay around and being seen, because it wasn't a one-time thing. There's a need for this to be ongoing. Our message to stand together in unity, in cooperation, and in respect for each other. And that may mean across the aisles too, but of course the challenge is, if we don't get respected back, what do we do with that? So I know I've given you more questions than answers, but that was kind of the inspiration for this talk, was to say, I want to say something after the march. The event I was at this weekend, I'll share about another time. Let me just say that as a postscript for this past weekend for myself, having spent a couple of days in the PAX World Tour with Alison Armstrong and a bunch of amazing people, the conversation we had for men and women to understand each other better, and also understand about how we have expectations, and this was the key element of the weekend, expectations versus needs about each other. It was a game changer for me, and I'll share more about that when I have a chance to integrate my thoughts and can articulate more clearly. But first of all, and last of all, this message really to shout out to all those people I know who went down to LA and other cities to march on Saturday. My heart goes out to you. I'm grateful you did that. I was there in spirit, and I just want to say, let's keep going. We're getting started. Let's take this and realize that we have something to do here. We have work to do. So that's really my message. I was thinking about if I had some big, profound things to drop, but not today, apparently. That was the essence of it. So take this to heart and remember that we're not alone. This is a joint venture, so to speak, and it's about us being together in this journey of life, of love, of respect. So that's all I have, I think. I just felt myself drained out. So thanks for watching, and feel free to share this out. And again, take care of yourselves, because other people aren't doing it for us. We need to do it for ourselves. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.